Man, I was just running and I was so burdened by the thought of the work that needs to be done on this earth. It was Jesus in Matthew 28, 18 through 20, who said, all authority has been given to me, therefore go. Make disciples and teach and preach and baptize. Yes, if you are following Christ and you are an obedient disciple of Jesus, Jesus gave you authority to baptize. He gave you authority to go preach. Now, in order to preach and in order to baptize, in order to disciple, you need to be a disciple. That means you need to be studious and be in the Word and be learning and be devouring His Word. Yet in America, our pastors, and I'm not shooting down any pastor, but they don't talk about making disciples. They don't push the congregation to be accountable to the work. And I know this because yesterday when I was out in the harvest, I'm going to make this very fast because I'm burdened. But I was in the harvest with my brother Jeff, and we were in a low-income apartment complex. We've been there for 4 weeks in a row, showing up. The darkness is unreal. Brothers in there telling me that people are getting shot in broad daylight. You know, and I'm not going to lie, the spiritual darkness is so real, it scared me a little. When I hear that kind of stuff, I'm thinking, it's broad daylight right now. I mean, should I be in here? Am I, is the fear rising up? That I could get hit by a stray bullet, that somebody could see me in the current society, the tension that we are facing racially, that I'm a white male in the middle of a all black neighborhood. And that's when that fear needs to be suppressed, because I follow the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, who is sovereign and is in control of everything. And His Spirit is in me. And He's the one that said, my spirit in you is greater than this spiritual darkness. And you're going to do greater things as long as you walk in step and in line with my will, and you believe and you trust and you seek me out. Allow me to lead you. I will guide you into all truth. I will guide you in all things. And so I suppress that darkness. I suppress that fear, because I know that, you know what, if this is what's meant for me, I'm meant to get hit by a stray bullet and die. Man, I'll die sharing the gospel. But the darkness that I felt, the overwhelming burden that I felt was, there is so much lostness. And when I say lostness, it's people just far from Jesus. My friends, a majority of this earth are far from Christ. There are many on here right now who claim Christianity who are far from Christ. And I'm here to tell you that the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And I was out there telling my brothers Will and Jeff yesterday that I feel overwhelmed. And they're like, why? Because the lostness is so thick. There's so many people in here. There's so much brokenness. There's so much lostness. I don't even know where to start. I'm crying out to the Lord saying, God, like, what are you going to do? How are you going to fix this? This is one isolated pocket in Jacksonville, Florida. One pocket. I'm not talking about the city. I'm talking about one neighborhood. And I'm thinking about the world. And I'm thinking about the amount of lazy, behind Christians that can't get off their hind tails and go share the gospel. And I mean, just pursue the Lord. Forget going out and having an uncomfortable conversation. I'm just saying, having quiet time with Jesus. Where is the spiritual discipline? Are your pastors not telling you that this is the most important thing that you ever will do on this side of heaven? And yet people just sit and just, dude, it's not okay. It is not okay. And I'm going to leave you with this. Jesus commanded. He didn't give us an option. He didn't suggest, I'm going to have this pocket of Christians and this pocket of Christians, and y'all have gifts and you go do what you got to do. No, He called all followers of Christ to go and share the gospel wherever you are. And my friends, it takes reps. It takes getting uncomfortable. It takes learning. How many of you guys don't even know how to share the gospel? Well, I put out an invitation a couple months ago, and I got like 30 replies. People were interested in learning. And guess what? Of the 30 that replied they were interested, guess how many are here? Like 6. And of the 6, how many are going to want to go deeper? I don't know. But that's the reality of Christ followers. Lazy. And I'm sorry to call it out, but you know what? Again, as I always mention, this ministry is not funded by anyone. I don't ask people for money. I'm not asking for people's support. You ain't got to buy a t-shirt. You ain't got to buy a sweatshirt or a hat. I don't need anybody to purchase anything. I'm doing this by stepping out in faith because I feel the Lord has called me to this. This ministry is about calling out the church and saying, what are you doing? And if you're asking me what I'm doing, follow me as I follow Jesus. And as I'm a bold lion for Christ. And so my friends, man, I love you enough to tell you that when the Lord returns, this is what he needs to find us doing. He needs to find us in the middle of the hood, talking to individuals who are lost, who are toting guns and smoking weed and getting hammered and having babies out of wedlock and have no idea who Christ is. Who are willing to forsake following Jesus and have an eternal life with him, to go to hell, to spend, and because they've been fed this lie that hell ain't real. But hell is real. And in the heat that you're going to feel, the fire is just the tip. Eternal separation from God, anxiety, fear, just complete recklessness, chaos, confusion, all of this, just imagine the worst of that, all of that, and just imagine yourself there, and there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. There will be screaming and groaning all for eternity, for the rest of your life. And that doesn't scare you to death? Guys, reverence for the Lord, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You better get some.